first grade. We're going to do math lesson 121. You did have a fact practice if you would like to do that, or you can practice your flashcards. As long as we get a little fact practice in, that'd be fantastic. If you do decide to do your class fact practice 121 side A, that would be 3 minutes, as fast as you can. Of course, practicing 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, okay? To get to your answers might be helpful, and then you'll switch and finish the page. Or if you'd like to do your flashcards a couple times with mom, that would be great also. Just get some practice in. And then today we're going to talk about how to make and label an array. Has anybody ever heard that word, array? Here, I'll show you how we're going to spell it. It's spelled A-R-R-A-Y, array. Has anybody ever seen a parade? Maybe you've watched the Thanksgiving parade they have in New York. Maybe you've watched the Rose Bowl parade they do in California. Oh, you guys, look, we have a visitor. Do you see that little ant? Look. Hey, little guy, what are you doing? You're looking for pie, aren't you? Yeah, there used to be some pie. The pie's all gone, buddy. Here, let me get you a new home. Bye-bye. Okay. Oh, he's still there. He hung on. All right, bye-bye. Okay, now I think he's gone. Now, back to the parade. If you've ever seen a parade, you might have seen a marching band, okay? And you might hear dun 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 dun. They march like that, and there's not just one person in the band. There's one person at the front that does this, but behind him is a whole band. And you might have noticed that that band, they don't march and crash into each other. Oh, you're going that way. I was going to go this way. Oh, I'm going. Oh, which way are you going? They march in a straight line right behind each other. Okay. When they march right behind each other, a row here, a row over here, a row over here, they don't run into each other. They stay in straight lines as they march, so they can play their instruments and pay attention and turn corners and all kinds of fancy things. So that is what is called an array. An array, oh my goodness. An array is like a calendar. A calendar makes an array because it has a lot of straight boxes. Today we're going to use color tiles to make an array. All right, so using our color tiles, I'm going to make a row of 4 tiles. Okay, well, not a very straight row. Okay, now that's a little better. And I'm going to add another row of 4 tiles. Okay, so now I have how many rows? 2. And how many tiles in each row? 4. We could say it, we have 2 groups of 4 tiles, okay? And if you remember, being a mathematician, when we say groups, we could also think of multiplication. That's right. So right now I have 2 rows of 4. What if I add another row of 4? I have how many rows? 3 rows. And how many in each row? That's right. So we could write this. I have, let's scoot it down just a little bit away from our words so I have room. We could say that I have 3 rows. Remember, rows go this way. And how many in each row? That's right, 4 in each row. We could call this a 3 by 4 array. What do we call it? A 3 by 4 array. 3 rows with 4 in each row. Okay? Now, let's try a different one. How many do I have? How many tiles do I have? That's right, 2. What if I make another row of 2 tiles below the first one? How many do I have now? I have 2 rows of 2 tiles. That's right. 2 rows of 2 tiles. What if I add another row? Now I have 3 rows of 2 tiles. What if I add another row? Now how many rows do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 rows. How many in each row? That's right, 2. We might call this a 4 by 2 array. It's a 4 by 2 array. Now, how many tiles did I use all together? That's right. It is 8. So I might even say that 4 times 2 equals 8. So a 4 by 2 array has 8 tiles in it. All right. Now we're going to practice this. If you'll get out your worksheet, you guys have this worksheet. Let me dig in my pile. There it is. Lesson worksheet 121. Can you get that out, please? It looks like this, and we've got rectangles, rectangle A, B, and C, and you can see that they have been divided. Okay, so we're going to kind of pretend that these are arrays. Okay. Now, in box A, okay, pay attention. In box A, I would like you, we're going to call this a 2 by 3 array. All right, so up here, we're going to say how many rows? 2. How many in each row are we going to color? 3. So this is going to be a 2 by 3 array. We can also write it like this. 2 by 3. 2 rows, 3 in each row. Now, this number is going to tell me how many rows. How many rows? 1, 2. If you want to use your colored pencils, you sure can. And it's going to tell me how many in each row. 1, 2, 3. Remember, we talked about maybe a strategy or a shortcut as a mathematician, rather than color one whole box and move to the next whole box. I know if I'm going to color 2 rows and 3 in each row, I'm going to color 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that shows me 2 rows, 3 in each row. Then I just color the whole thing. You know, mathematicians love a shortcut. So as I color that in, that is showing a 2 by 3 array. Now, answer this question. And go ahead and color in if you haven't finished yet. Okay? How many color tiles would be in a 2 by 3 array? That's right. In the middle, can you write a 6? Okay? A 2 by 3 array would use 6 color tiles. And if you use a dark color and it's hard to see, that's okay. This time, maybe use a lighter tile. That was my fault. This time, we're going to do a 4 by 2 array. 4 by 2. That means how many rows? 4 rows. How many in each row? 2. So I can get my colored pencil. I'm going to go yellow because he's nice and light. I'm going to do 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and 2 in each row. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So as you can see, I have colored the ones, and as a mathematician, you know I like a shortcut, and I can color all of it. Much quicker than one square, one square, one square. Okay? So color in this array. Remember the array, the word to me sounds like hooray. And then we talked about it being a parade. And sometimes when you're in a parade, you hear people say, hip, hip, hooray, hip, hip, hooray, hip, hip, hooray. But we as mathematicians are going to think about the parade and how those marchers stay in straight lines. And we're going to say hip, hip, array, hip, hip, array, hip, hip, array. Okay, that reminds us that the marching band walks in an array in the parade. Okay, so last one on C. On C, we're going to call this a 3 by 5 array. Okay, on C. It will be a 3 by 5 array. That means I'm going to do how many rows? 3 rows. How many in each row? 5. Oh, I'm sorry, first grade. We need to go back up here because a 4 by 2 array, how many squares? Or what's 4 times 2? That's right, 8. So we'll put a big 8 in there, okay? Now back to C. Sorry about that. I got so excited about the hip, hip, array. Woo! All right. Now, going back to my colored pencil, I'm thinking of another light color, maybe a light green. Do I have a light green? He's pretty light. Let's see. How many rows? 1, 2, 3. How many in each row? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I know exactly what I have to color, and it should be quicker, because you know, as a mathematician, I do. Oops, hang on, sorry. Love a shortcut. So go ahead if you've already got that filled in. Go ahead and start pouring it in. I'm going to go gently because I don't want my green to be too dark because I have to write on top of it, remember? What in the world? Look, first grade. Look at that sweet little sign from Mrs. Wilson to first grade. I love you and miss you terribly. All right, back to math. How many rows? 3. How many in each row? 5. What is 3 times 5? Well, we can count, right? 5, 10, 15. So this would be 15. Okay, so those are called arrays. We can remind ourselves when we say hip, hip, array. It's the marching band who march without crashing in order. Okay, that's the lesson 121. Oh, let me take a look at the worksheet and see if there's anything we should work together. You want to look at the worksheet? I'll let you do number 1 and 2 after, but if you want to work on number 3 with me, this is what we just practiced. Number 3, label these arrays. Okay, let's label it. How many rows? 2 rows. How many in each row? How many? 7. So this array is a 2 by 7 array. And how many tiles did we use? Well, what's 7 plus 7? That's right, 14. We used 14 tiles for this array. All right, let's look next door. How many rows? That's right, 4 rows. How many in each row? That's right. So what would we call this array? A 4 by 3 or 4 times 3. And we can count 3, 6, 9, 12. We use 12 tiles, okay? On number 4, they want you to use a crayon. I guess you get to pick your color to trace a line, a pair. How many in a pair? 2. Of perpendicular. 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 All right, remember, lines crashing with a right angle. And a pair just means 2 because there are a lot, okay, a lot of perpendicular line segments in these shapes. But your job is to find one. And if you find a letter L, you did it. Oops, that wasn't very good, Mrs. Wilson. And I also should label it with my, oh, that was terrible, a right angle square, right angle label, that it is perpendicular. So you can find him anywhere. He could have been over here. That's one. Oh, he could have been right here. He could have been, okay, I think you can see. He could have been over here, you know, like a T. So there were a lot of perpendicular. And then go ahead and find your answers on number 5, okay? That's math lesson 121. Hip, hip, hooray!